Hello, everyone, and welcome to Something Awesome Podcast. We are a podcast that likes to live on the corner of nostalgic and you. And today we are back with episode 2 of season 3.
Yeah. Cheesy has been like, bro, when is it coming back? When is it coming back? And I was like, dude, we're going to come back.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. It's too hot in the summer to get together, man.
It's starting to cool off, though. I mean, it's kind of cloudy, overcast.
Yeah. A little
better. Of
better.
course, I say that. Looks like the sun's trying to peek out. Get your fucking...
No. I need the sun to come out for at least 53 minutes when I walk later, because I haven't done my walk yet today.
So, you didn't do your walk? I thought you did. Oh, okay.
No, I got up and had to wake up first. I was like, well, this ain't happening right now. So I need the sun out for when I go walking later.
Okay, yeah.
Then it can go away. Fuck the sun. Yeah, man. So Cheesy's have been harassing me about when's the show coming back, both of us on X, Twitter, whatever the fuck, and also messaging me in Discord and other places like, so when's it coming back? When's it coming back?
Yeah.
One of the dudes I'm in the Finish Challenge with on Discord is like, hey man, when's the show coming back? And I was like, I think first week of September. And I was streaming like a week and a half ago, and I had mentioned that we recorded the first episode of season 3.
Catch up.
Yeah, catch-up episode. And Ian from 616 Entertainment was in the stream, and he's like, oh, podcast coming back? Hell yeah. So it's like, yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
That makes my heart nice and warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, another buddy of ours, it's also from Ian's Discord. He's Doc Friday 97 on YouTube.
I think I've seen him on your Twitch.
Discord. Yeah, and he comes and hangs out on the Twitch. He's a young kid, but he's trying the YouTube thing, and dude pumps out a lot of content. So if you guys want to check out that, he does like a lot of Call of Duty stuff, skate stuff. It's funny because he's 15, but he's playing games that came out before he was born, and he's like, this is the shit I like, and it's all games that came out before he was even born. He's a cool kid though, so go check him out too. The podcast should be up now, obviously, since it's episode 2. Right.
That took a while, but yeah, I'm trying to add captions.
Yeah. You were telling me about that.
That's a real big thing that I've been wanting to try to do, and now that Adobe has auto captions for it, it's pretty good. But I've been having an issue. For some reason, it doesn't split the tracks for 2 different audios. I don't know. Now that I just said that, I think I figured out the workaround. Is I have to split our tracks. The one track, because I know we record one here, but I think if I split those tracks, then I could add the 2 perhaps. It's a dumb workaround.
So what you're saying is that we need to get a mixer and 2 microphones.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah, right. Don't worry, we're not those guys.
No, just share this to whoever you think might like
share
this.
Share it wherever.
That's really all that matters.
I used to say about the old podcast, if you don't like us, share us to somebody anyway and make them feel the same misery you felt. Either share us because you love us or share us because you hate us. I don't care.
That is correct. So yeah, I'm so glad to be getting back into this. You know what's funny? When I approach editing, I was like, oh fuck, I gotta edit. And then I get into the zone and I'm like, fuck, I forgot to eat. Or oh shit, I forgot this. Yeah. And then I have so much fun with it. I always forget that. I got to remind myself that because sometimes I kind of did this last minute, to be honest, the editing.
For episode 1, yeah.
Yeah, but then once I got into the zone, I'm like, all right, yeah, it's good.
Good. No, I totally get that, man. That's why I always tell you there's no pressure whatsoever.
That's why you might see it like the first half hour, maybe 45 minutes looks really nice, clean cut. The last is going to be like, it's like that picture with the horse drawing. That's usually how my editing goes. Like, fuck it.
Masterpiece.
Nobody watches. People just listen.
Yeah.
If you watch, let me know in the comments.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Like I said, no pressure. It doesn't have to be crazy. Like,
yeah. Like every once in a while, though, like if you call something that I like, I think should be there, then I'll
that makes sense. But
just because reference, you know.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like the old podcast where like if we're talking about something, you'd minimize us and have like trailer playing in the background and shit. Like none of that's necessary. I'm
done with that.
Yeah, it was cool, but it's unnecessary.
Unless we have contributing viewers, then I'm like, fuck, okay, I gotta do this for them. You know?
Yeah.
But right now, there's no pressure, so I like that.
Also, I think that the way we do this and the way we intended the original podcast to be, which it was for the first couple years, was audio only. Like, it's an audio podcast first. The video is strictly because having it live on YouTube is like a redundancy backup for having the audio live on whatever server we're using, whether it be Spotify for podcasts or wherever it may be. Like, it's kind of a redundancy. It's
like an archive for us.
Yeah.
But also, because I also wanted to video edit too, and that really helped me out and figuring all that out. Big inspiration was, all those beginning podcasts we used to listen to.
Oh, dude.
Which kind of brings me into like what you were talking about earlier off air. One of our biggest influences.
For anybody who has, I don't know, we've talked a little bit about it before. On one of these episodes, that one of the podcasts that really inspired us early on was Dignation, which was hosted by Kevin Rose and Alex Albrecht. And
dude, that was like 20 years ago now.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my
2003,
God.
right?
Yeah.
Like 2003 or 2004.
Yeah. Holy shit, dude. Yeah.
We're old.
So that was one of the ones that really inspired us, to the point where the first idea for a podcast Rick and I had was the opposite of what they were doing. They were doing a show called Dignation, which was based around the social news site dig.com, where they would talk about the top 5 or 10 stories on dig.com. And our idea was, what if we talk about the bottom 10 stories on dig.com, the ones that nobody's reading or seeing or hitting the like button on? Let's talk about those ones. That would be funny. But shortly after that, my wife got pregnant and we had our first child, and I was like, yo, I can't do anything right now. And then, a few years later, we got our ass off our shoulders and figured out a way to attack a podcast the way we wanted to. But yeah, about a week ago, I had a dream that we were filming and recording a podcast with Kevin and Alex, with a professional set and at like this nice V-shaped table to where we were like looking at each other, but still looking at the camera, and they were on one side and we were on the other. And I was like, this is so weird. I got to tell Rick about this. And then I forgot to tell Rick. And then when I got here today, I was like, oh dude, you'll never guess. So I just thought that was kind of a funny story, considering that was like the podcast that you and I, one, kind of our friendship sparked and we bonded over, number one. Number two, we wanted to do something like that. And 3, here we are. Shut your mouth. 20 years later. And like, I'm still like, wouldn't it be fucking cool if we could talk to Kevin and Alex?
We both have met them.
Yeah.
I met Alex a few times. A couple times or so. Kevin, I think I only met once. At the LA show. The first LA show.
Oh, so I met him at the one you ended up not going to. The one I went to with my brother. And he didn't show up, and LeVar Burton was there, and you were like, what? I was like, yeah, see? That's what happens, Rick. That's what happens.
Yeah, and then I was supposed to go to the last Dignation show, too, but that was when I was unemployed and wasn't able to make it.
Then they were going to do, they did like a crowdfunded, one, remember?
I don't remember that.
And it was going to be in San Diego, and you and I both
that's right.
Yeah.
It
was going to be like Comic-Con weekend one year.
That's right.
And it was like 10 years later or something like that. And then they ended up getting canceled. And I was like, no, damn it.
They should come back and do a 20-year one.
They should.
Come on, Alex.
God,
Kevin.
when did that? So 20 years might be 2005, because in 2003, Kevin was still working at
he was
G4. Yeah. That he didn't, I don't think he left until late 2004.
He left later, yeah.
Yeah.
But Alex was the one that stuck around for quite a bit.
Right. Alex did like guest hosting stuff after that.
Yeah. He was like a correspondent of some kind.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be super cool to see those guys again.
Oh wait, no, I my bad. I messed up. It wasn't 2003. I thought it was 2003.
No.
I think maybe the site might have came out.
Dig? Might have been out on this. I think it was like
But the
2005.
first, it says here, yeah, it says July 1st, 2005
Yeah.
was the first
Okay.
episode. Okay. So that's only...
You got a year and a half. 2 years. Alex and Kevin do a 20-year reunion. That'd be dope.
18 years ago.
That first episode starting with...
Can legally smoke and gamble.
That first episode of Dignation started with... This is the era, guys. It started with... they didn't have a theme song yet. So what they used was the audio of Peter Griffin singing Rock Lobster from Family Guy.
Oh, yeah,
That
it was Rock
the first
Lobster.
episode.
Yeah.
And then even to the point where the first video didn't come out till like the week after. The first episode came out and it was audio only. And it hadn't been edited or posted yet. And then it got posted on YouTube on the Revision 3 channel. And then like it was like the flagship show for Revision 3.
Yeah.
And then there was so many shows that came after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Total of... I lost it. But yeah. I like this here, the video format. QuickTime, Flash, WMV, Xvid.
Yeah, because the way to get it through video was through iTunes.
iTunes, yeah.
Yeah, so it was the Apple proprietary format.
And I believe all of the episodes are on Internet Archive right now.
I'm sure they are. I bet they're on YouTube also.
They're probably on YouTube. Not all of them.
Unless they took them down.
I know a few of them are definitely still there, like the majority of them. But
okay.
Like the first few episodes, they're a little bit harder to find.
Really?
Yeah, and I found them on Internet Archive.
Gotcha.
Dignation.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I love that show, man. That was those guys just, and it wasn't even the content; it was just their
personalities.
Their interaction. Yeah,
because usually when you watch something, you watch it for the person.
Yeah.
I mean, for the content as well too, but usually it's the person who's hosting.
Yeah.
That you come back for, like us. You would want to come back to continue listening to us.
That was pre-YouTube by like maybe a year, right? A year or two.
No, YouTube came out in 05.
05?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I think it didn't come out until the Super Bowl, so maybe it came out after.
Okay.
Yeah, because Super Bowl is usually February?
Yeah, last weekend of January or like first weekend of February.
Yeah. Yeah, because the whole YouTube started was because of the Janet Jackson video.
That's right.
Remember, he wanted to upload the video of the Timberlake Janet Jackson video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go back and check out some Dignation, guys. It's pretty funny. Yeah. Especially if you look at the stories that were the top dug stories on Dig in the first couple of months and first year or so, it was all like the most random shit, like the reanimated dogs and all that. Remember that shit? Like And then it became really tech heavy. Then iPhone.
There's a lot of fun animation too, kind of like Homestar Runner type stuff on there. Yeah. But yeah, tech did come into it a lot.
Became real tech heavy in like the following years, you know, with Apple and the iPhone and BlackBerry having their problems and all that stuff and smartphones.
The Justine video with the giant bill.
Yeah.
Giant iPhone bill.
Yeah. It's good times. It's simpler times.
She's still making videos.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's the OG with no controversy or nothing. Just still making videos.
No ukulele videos on the internet.
No ukulele videos with Justine. No, she's killing it. She's really doing a good job.
Good for her, man.
Yeah. I still watch her content.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, usually I watch Justine and like Marquise. Brown.
I check him out when a big tech thing comes out.
Yeah. He recently did this video on Android and iOS.
Okay.
And to see not technically, but like which one's better and like the way that's just user
beneficially.
Yeah. I didn't finish the video; it was really long. But Android was definitely coming out on top.
If anything, man, that dude cares about his content. He puts a lot of work into it. And I don't know. I'm sure he's at a point where somebody else is editing and taking care of all that.
When
it comes to research and the writing of it and the opinion of it, like that dude, you can tell he cares.
Yeah. Yeah, the one video I did watch of his was his solar panel videos for his home and the Tesla solar panels. And he went into fucking detail to the watts and shit.
Yeah,
he said for where he lives, which is in New Jersey, he could finish paying it off, I think, within the 5 years or less, he says. Because of how much he's saving and how much it puts back into the grid, too.
Yeah. That's pretty dope, man.
No. Anyways.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Back to the topic at hand for today's episode.
Today's topic.
We are going to be talking about one of Rick and mine's favorite video games. A game that we spent over 50 hours in and got the platinum trophy together by cheesing it a little bit so we didn't have to do it for real. But we're going to talk about Saints Row the Third today.
Right.
And I recently played through it last summer. I played through it. And then I was like, hey, we should do an episode about Saints Row. And then you were like, oh, that'd be fun. And then you sent me like a video of you getting to the sing-along part, which we'll talk about here in a few. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I actually played through it again. Just the main story. I didn't do any of the side stuff this time. I just mainlined it and got it done in like 3 sittings, which was hilarious.
That's funny. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to finish it.
Yeah, I figured you'll be fine, dude. We spent so much time in it the first time.
What was it, 80 hours?
50 is what we had to spend to get the trophy, the final trophy. It was like spend 50 hours.
I think I put in 80.
Did you put about, okay.
Because of the extra stuff.
Yeah. All the extra like insurance frauds and the tank missions and the assassin missions and all that stuff, yeah. We played the PS4 quote remaster or whatever, and I like being able to say this because it's when Uncharted came out with the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection or whatever, and I played the first game, I was like, oh, this looks how I remember it. And then I went and looked at videos of the first game and I was like, ooh, all right, I guess it didn't look as good as I thought it did. And it was the same with Saints Row the Third. Initially, when I booted it up last year and I put it on, I was like, man, this looks how I remember it. And then I went and looked at videos and I was like, ugh. All right, that's right. It was a PS3 game. Holy shit.
I was thinking the same thing too when I fired it up.
Yeah. So I like, that's a good thing because that means they did a lot of work to it, but it also means that it's still recognizable as the thing you love. It's not a complete overhaul where everything is changed and nothing feels familiar. It still feels familiar. So like looks wise, you know, having it run at a steady 60 frames and having it look as clean, as sharp as it does, and the physics being what it is, and not compromising the feel of the gameplay, I thought was really cool. It's a hard line to walk when you do a quote remaster or remake, because you can do what some companies do and like rebuild it from the ground up, but then you change the physics, you have to change mechanics, you have to everything ends up having to change, and it doesn't feel familiar anymore. And I think they did a really good job with this port.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I was playing. I was playing the remastered PC version at least.
Yeah.
Because I got it for free on Epic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was playing that version. Load time was fast, obviously, because it's an older game. Yeah. So like it was really cool. Like I can open the door in like just like 2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the handling felt just like it did back then, just with some little improvements here and there to make it a little bit more digestible when you're moving about and trying to get those headshots.
Yeah.
I definitely found it a lot easier once I got into the groove of it to get those headshots, because you need a certain amount of headshot counts.
Yeah, it's like 250 or something.
Something like that, yeah. Driving in it too, like each car still has that specific mechanics to it, which I thought was amazing. They all feel different. Yeah. The little tiny smart car to the like Rolls Royce like looking car,
and then the big trucks.
The trucks,
they all feel different. It's great.
They all feel like the cars that they are.
The only vehicles in the original game and the remaster that I still hate driving are the motorcycles, because they just feel completely unwieldy. Like,
oh yeah, the motorcycle is just like it's maddening to drive. It's just
yeah. The Tron cycle is pretty cool when you unlock it though.
Yeah, I didn't even get that far, but I love that Tron cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I played it, I made my character look like Olivia Wilde from Tron Legacy.
Nice.
That was about the time the movie came out, I believe. About the same time.
2007, 2008-ish, I think, when the first one came out. Yeah. Wait, Uncharted, maybe 2011.
Oh,
2011.
11 sounds right. Yeah, because I made my character look like Olivia Wilde from Tron. And then I got so excited to get the cycle too. I was like, yes. Which is a good movie.
Yeah, by the way. It's all right.
Shit, I wasn't supposed to say that.
You can say that.
Oh,
it's okay.
Whatever.
Edit it out. No.
But yeah, I made the character. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely still want to continue playing it because I just love the writing, the dialogue, the amount of detail for creating your character.
Yeah.
It's still uncanny.
Yeah.
It's insane just how detailed you could make it. So I tried this time around. I tried to make my character look like the Mark Ruffalo Incredible Hulk.
Oh, okay.
And I did an okay job.
All right.
I mean, I got to the point where I'm like, all right, I give up.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I put in a good hour and a half into it to try to make it the best I can.
Yeah.
And I'll put a picture here and you let me know in the comments. But yeah, I made him green and everything. I thought it was really cool.
That's pretty funny.
I'm gonna hate myself for this because I know who it is. But the voice.
The male voice?
The first male voice.
Oh, it's Troy Baker.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so. I was like, that's Troy Baker. Yeah.
So when I played it last year, I wasn't necessarily anti Troy Baker, but I was kind of down on some of the things he had been saying. I was like, come on, Troy, you're better than that. So what I did was I made my character. I used the Troy Baker voice, but I also made the character to look like Troy Baker, but I made him look like pretentious hipster Troy Baker that he had kind of turned into a couple years ago. So it was pretty funny to see him walking around looking like Troy Baker and then having the voice come out that's Troy Baker. But yeah, this time I made a female character this time around. So
that's funny. You're gonna just swap it.
Yeah, because there's a trophy for playing as both genders
really?
for 2 hours. You got to play 2 hours as each male and female.
You can play an alien too.
Yeah.
Right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe no. Maybe that's 4. I think that's 4.
I think that is 4. Yeah, I think they added more stuff in 4.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if because at the end, after I beat the game, I switched to a female character so I could go for that trophy. And then I don't know if my original save from last year, if it's the Troy Baker looking character, I'll send you a picture. But
yes.
I don't think it is anymore, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, I could just try to recreate him, I guess. But I don't know.
Which total sidetrack real quick.
Yeah.
I made a folder in our Dropbox or our Google Drive to put any assets for anything that you talk about.
Gotcha.
So you drop it in there and I can pull them out and I can,
Cool.
Anyways, go on.
So yeah, this time I made a female character and I used the first voice, which I think is Laura Bailey. So it's like Troy Baker and Laura Bailey, which is great.
I don't know that was Laura Bailey.
I'm pretty sure it's her that does the main female voice. I could look it up, but I won't. We don't fact check here.
No, we don't.
Cut to Rick editing and probably putting it right there. But yeah, man, it was really fun to go back and play through that story again. And to play through the story this time, just playing the story and not worrying about the side stuff.
Just doing the mission, going through it. Yeah.
And you do end up the majority of the story missions are, okay, you got to talk to Pierce, and then you got to do this mission for Pierce, and he's showing you how to do insurance fraud. Then he's showing you how to do the assassinations, and then you get Kinsey, and she's showing you how to do the hacking thing and the Tron cycle stuff, and then you get Oleg, who's the big Russian guy, and you got to do some loyalty missions for him. So the meat of the game is them showing you everything the game has to offer, and then you doing a big story mission. Mm-hmm. And it's, I don't know, I just feel like this is where my take on these games kind of, I won't say upsets people, but differs from other people. Mm-hmm. I think Saints Row the Third is the best version of Saints Row. I really enjoyed playing the first game when it came out on 360. Well, way back in the day, because it was an Xbox 360 exclusive then, and never came out anywhere else but Xbox 360, which is crazy. But that game was fun, but it was like Grand Theft Auto Light.
Grand Theft Auto Light.
Yeah, it was a much smaller map, much more condensed thing. Your missions were repetitive, kind of like they can be in Saints Row the Third, and it was like, here, go kill these guys, go do this, then come back, and we'll move the story forward. The second game didn't force you. It wasn't like, now go do this, now go do this, but it had a respect system where it was like, well, you have to go and earn respect to unlock this next story mission. And a lot of people really like that game, Saints Row 2, and I think the story of that game is really, really good. When you get to the story chunks of that game, it's really good. But there's so much busy work in between that it really takes you out of takes me out of the continuity of the story. I won't say you or generalize it, because it's just me apparently. And I feel like in Saints Row the Third, they did the perfect middle ground where it was like, okay, you're gonna have to do one of every of these missions, but guess what? We're going to frame it in the context of the story. You're going to talk to Kinsey, and she's going to say, hey, I'm going to put you in this simulation, and you've got to knock down these firewalls so I can hack into the Deckers mainframe and figure out where they are so we can then go kill the Deckers. So it kind of puts everything all together and makes it cohesive rather than, no, you can't do shit in the story until you earn some respect. Like, I didn't like that aspect of 2. And I know a lot of people love 2, and that's fine. But I think 3 is the perfect middle ground of contextualizing all the side stuff once and then leaving it open for you to continue it, or you going through the story. There's like territory takeovers where it's like, if you do all of the side stuff in this territory, you take it over for the Saints, and then you get discounts on all the shops and stuff in there. And that's cool too, but it's completely unnecessary to do if you don't want to do it to finish the story. So I do like the choice that the Saints Row the Third gives you.
Yeah. I remember when we first we did review it on the podcast. Or we talked about it.
You and I talked about it for sure. Bryce never got to it because that year was Uncharted 3, and that year was Zelda Skyward Sword. And you and I were like, man, Bryce, if you would have just played a few hours of Saints Row the Third, it would have been our collective game of the year. That's right. It ended up being Uncharted, which we aren't mad about.
Of course, yeah.
But should have been Saints Row the Third.
I totally forgot where I was going with that.
Yeah.
What were we saying? We're saying respect and that. Shit, I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Wow.
Fuck.
There we go.
That happens,
Yeah. So we were saying, I was talking about the respect stuff and then saying that I find that like a more palatable way of doing it. And that's when you said something, and then, we got off track there. That sucks.
I totally forgot.
But yeah, mission structure wise, I think the game is really well put together. Saints Row the Third.
I remember what I was going to say now.
Go ahead.
I remember when we were talking about that back then. I remember how you said like the first 2 were like definitely a warm up to making this third game because of how they integrated some of how they integrated or found the best stuff out of the first 2 and implemented it into the third game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that's one of the main key things you said in the old podcast was that. And
I still believe that to this day.
But there you go. You still believe it.
100%.
Yeah, that was one of the things I took away because when you did say that, I did try playing, I think it was the second one.
Yeah.
Or maybe the first one. I don't remember.
It was probably the second one because I think I can't remember, but Saints Row 2 didn't come to PS3 until way later because 1 and 2 were on Xbox only at one point at the beginning. And I think it was
the second one.
I think it was when you bought 4, you got a copy of 2 if you bought the complete edition of 4.
That's what happened.
On PS3.
I tried playing it and I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't get through it. I think I only put like maybe about 4 hours into it before I kind of gave up on it.
Yeah.
Just because like This felt a little bit more. That one at least felt a little bit more like constricted.
Yeah.
And it was hard to.
What I think is hilarious about that is like the reason you and I bounced off of Saints Row 2 is because they force you to do the side stuff.
Yeah, that's.
But Saints Row 3,
it's like integrated.
The first mission of all the side stuff, but we did everything in that game. And like willingly did everything in that game. But when we tried to play 2, we were like, man, fuck this making us do all this shit. Like it's just the way you frame the concepts in the game. Like
Don't tell us what to do.
Yeah. It can really put you off or it can really pull you into the world. And I like the idea of the respect system in Saints Row 2, but in Saints Row 3, it was like, okay, here's Pierce telling me a mission we have to do and why we need to do it. And even though it's side stuff. And then he says, yo, man, there's more assassinations in the city. If you want to, get more respect and get more this and do more of that, go for it. But let's get going.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed with the third one, too, is I felt when I first played it, the respect bar meter, like I felt like it went a lot quicker compared to when I'm playing it now. Because now when I'm playing, or maybe it's because I'm not doing all the side missions, I don't know.
That's exactly why.
That's probably why, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like the respect was a lot harder to get because it was like I just completed like 4 missions and like it barely moved.
You're like, I need to get to 25 so I can get unlock the unlimited sprint or whatever the hell. And it's like, oh fuck, well now I gotta do all side stuff to do that.
Yeah. So it's obviously rigged that way, which is nice, I guess. To keep the person playing the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did notice that big difference was that like I completed like 4 missions and I barely hit the respect thing. Yeah. Because I was getting tired of the sprint like Cameron now.
I think by the end of the main story, because I didn't do any extra side stuff, I just did the mandatory stuff during the story. But by the end of the main story, I think I was like respect level 21 or 22. Whereas like I think you and I, before we completed the story, we got to respect 50 so we could have everything unlocked. So like the last third of the game, you and I were unlimited ammo and unlimited sprint and taking no damage and no ragdoll physics and playing as a fucking toilet with electric machine guns and running around in Steelport as a goddamn toilet is hilarious still to this day.
If you haven't played this game, you need to play this game. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
In all the sense.
Yeah.
The costumes you can buy and wear, the customization. You dress as a dominatrix.
You dress as a gimp.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's so much fun running around in that game.
That's kind of just a major overview. I want to talk about some of the characters. Like Pierce, who is from the older games, and Shandy, who's from the older games. But then you get Kenzie, who's your tech nerd, and you get Oleg, who is your big Russian brute. And my favorite character, and man, is it completely indicative of the time, but Zemus, who is a pimp who speaks with the voice box, and it's auto-tuned. So everything he says is auto-tuned.
Yeah.
And I love that character. It's so ridiculous, but it's so indicative of the time. That was right at the point where every hit song on the radio was using auto-tune in some way, shape, or form. But it was also at the same point where everybody was fucking sick of auto-tune on every song on the radio. And they make this character who speaks in a singing kind of way, and it's all auto-tune, and it kind of made you appreciate it and like it again. But yeah, Zemus is one of the best characters in that game.
Yeah, I forgot about that character. Yeah. That was funny. Yeah. I do remember that time. Everyone was so tired of it.
Yeah. Jay-Z had that song Death of Autotune that came out, and like I was like, yeah, thank you. Please get rid of it. And then I play Saints Row, and it's funny because he's a pimp with a giant gold microphone, and he holds the microphone up to his throat to talk, and it's like a big gigantic, it's so good. Man, it's good. Yeah,
my favorite character, of course, was the tech nerd Kenzie.
Oh yeah.
all the hacking stuff. Like that was that was so much fun. I remember the firewall breaking down.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. That's like one of my favorite things in video games is doing when you have to do all the hacking stuff, especially like in the Spider-Man games when you have to do either the microbiology stuff or the systems where you got to turn the knobs and things like that.
Yeah.
And you have all those kind of like same kind of ideas with this one too. Although with the firewall, if I remember, you just get in a tank and start shooting down walls or something similar.
There's that, and then there's also the one where you're like in the Tron looking tube and you're on a bicycle on the bike going around and knocking walls down. Yeah, it's so
those
good.
were the fun ones.
Yeah.
Anytime I get to jump into that virtual world.
Yeah, the ones that still suck and sucked back then were the helicopter missions. I have one hell assault mission left to do to get that trophy, and God, it fucking sucks. Oh my God, does it suck. Yeah. I forgot how poorly the gun controls are when you're in the helicopter because you're never in the right place and you have to really anticipate where you're going to be. Like you have to go through it several times so you know exactly where everybody's going to come through and spawn so you can take them out.
Yeah, I did that first one where you went to like guard Pierce in the helicopter.
Yeah.
As soon as I started, I'm like, I remember this.
Yeah. God, I think I only have one left on my other save. I'm at 89% complete of everything on the other save. I think this one, when I finished the story, just going straight through, I think it was only 23% or 22%. It was really low. Just like any open world game like Grand Theft Auto, you can finish that game with like 22% completion of everything in the world. So the completion rate is not just the story, it's of everything.
Okay, all right.
So if you said you got to about 12 or 13%, like that's like about halfway through the main story.
It's not halfway. Yeah. I feel like there's still a lot more, unless I just don't remember the game being that long.
It's not that long. The main story is not that long. It was only long because we did everything you could possibly do.
That would make a lot more sense, yeah.
And then you and I
remember, because when I've like revisited like the first Uncharted, I forget, like I burned through that so quickly when I replayed it.
Then with Saints, similar to like how we treated Burnout, you and I treated Saints Row the Third like Burnout, where we would just join up in a map and we would just drive around and hang out. Yeah,
the co-op aspect of this game was so much fun.
Yeah.
Too. Oh man, we played everything that was co-op on that together.
Yeah, there's a trophy for.
There's also a trophy for it.
Stealing all of the cars. Like there's a list of cars to steal, and the last one is a military car. And in order to get the military car, you got to assault the military base and get like a level 5 wanted level before that car comes out. Then you got to steal the car and take it back to your base, and hopefully you make it without them blowing up. But after you finish the game, if you go a certain way in the story, you unlock being able to spawn the military vehicle that you need. So I was like, Rick, join my game, spawn the military vehicle. I'll steal it, and you have to watch my back because they're going to come after me as soon as And so we did that for each other, where then I called and spawned it and had to watch his back while he was running. And it took us a while still to even get that one because as soon as you get into the car, you get full wanted level, and everybody just swarms you. And it's like,
right, that's right. Yeah, oh, man.
Yeah.
That was difficult.
Yeah, I want to go back and get that platinum again because I have the platinum on PS3. And I'm playing the PS5 version of the remaster right now. So I definitely want to go back and try to finish that and get the platinum in it again. That'd be fun.
You just start playing on PlayStation again and just co-op again.
I mean, if you do, I can join you and we can really motor through those missions. Because there's no difficulty trophy. So we could just put on easiest difficulty and just breeze through it.
That's true.
Yeah. Just for funsies. But yeah, it's a fantastic game, man, and like all the characters are super fun, and the writing is
witty.
It's goofy now.
And goofy. Yeah.
That game sits in a bubble, and it sits in that 2011 bubble, and it sits there perfectly, and it's exactly indicative of what we were tired of at the time, and it took those things and it made fun of that, and then made them fun again. Where like there's a car customization and they kind of like, this is old and tired, but there's a trophy for customizing like 50 cars or something like that. And the more you do, and you can get unlimited nitrous for any car in the game, which is
Yeah.
fucking hilarious when you're driving like the big cement truck and you're speeding down the freeway in the big cement truck with NOS blasting the entire way. You can get NOS in airplanes. You can get NOS on the jet bikes. You can get, and everything is
My
just...
favorite was the smart cart.
Yes.
Because you could barely control the thing once it started going off.
Yeah. But yeah, it took conventions of open world crime action games like GTA that we were all kind of bored of at the time, and it kind of flipped it on its head. And it's like, you're gonna do the same exact shit that you're tired of, but we're gonna make it fun.
It felt like playing Saints Row the Third felt like playing San Andreas with all the cheats on.
Yes, that's exactly what they were going for. That's what Saints Row 2 was also. It was like, because Saints Row 2 came out at the same time as Grand Theft Auto 4, and Grand Theft Auto 4 took out all of the jetpacks and took out all of the crazy stuff that was in San Andreas, because that was the last Grand Theft Auto game before 4 was San Andreas. Right. And so they stripped everything that was, quote, fun about San Andreas out of GTA 4. And then when Saints Row 2 came out, like their whole ad campaign was, why do something boring when it can be ridiculous, and would show somebody on a jetpack and big old fucking bazookas and unlimited ammo on the cannons and all that. So like that was their whole vibe, was like, let's do the opposite of what GTA is doing right now so we can get that other part of the audience. And yeah, that's what they did with 2 and 3. It was like, let's make this completely ridiculous. And then Saints Row 4 is just Crackdown, but better. For original Xbox 360. If anybody played Crackdown, it was a really fun game where there was like agility orbs and you had to collect them, and the more you collected, the more powerful you got. And in Saints Row 4, they did that same kind of mechanic where there was shards in the world that you had to collect, and you could jump taller than buildings, and you didn't need cars anymore because you could run super fast. Like, it just gave you superpowers. It was, yeah, Saints Row 4 is another fun one that we need to go back and revisit. But
I never finished it. Yeah, I'll have to play it because I've never finished it.
Saints Row 4 also has Anthony Birch, Ashley Birch, and their dad are in it. Remember?
No.
Yeah, you're the one that told me about that. They're in it as characters. They were DLC as characters.
Oh, that's right.
And you could call them to come and help you in gang wars and stuff, and they would talk.
Totally forgot about
like
that.
They do, like they did on Hey Ash, What You Playing. It was too funny, man.
Yeah, because that was their game of the year.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they ended up being in Saints Row 4, which is great.
That one I have on PlayStation. That one, yeah. That one I don't have on PC.
I have that one on PlayStation also, on PS4.
So I'll have to download it to my PlayStation.
Yeah.
5. I should be able to. I can download it for
because it'll be for PS4.
Yeah. Almost forgot about is this backwards compatible or not?
With all PS4 stuff, it is.
As long as it's on the system.
But not PS3. You can't. Yeah. You still can't play PS3 games, which I think is fucking garbage.
No, PS3 was its own bubble.
They're getting there. Apparently, with emulation, they're getting there. But it's on a game by game basis where they have to.
I thought that would have already been cracked.
No, it's the way the processor was. So there is an emulator out there that plays games, PS3 games, just not very well. Sony is working on trying to get that working properly so they can start adding PS3 games to download instead of just streaming. Because right now with PlayStation Plus Extra, the highest, or Premium, the highest tier, you can stream a lot of PS3 games. But that's terrible. It doesn't feel good. And they want to be able to get them running natively. And some games work, some games don't. It's a game by game basis. They have to tweak the settings of the emulator to because just the way the processor was on PS3 was weird.
Yeah, that was the time. That was the time.
Yeah, it was.
PS3 was the time.
I'm so glad they ditched that complicated architecture for basically a budget PC in a box now.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. I think technologically, I thought it was very interesting.
Yes, very.
Because of what it can do.
Yeah.
It was just so much power that, you didn't know what to do with it.
Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, the first Last of Us, those games, you couldn't get those on Xbox because they were taking advantage. Even though they're first party games, there was no way those games would run on Xbox. There's no way.
Yeah. Is the Metal Gear Solid games on the PlayStation Premium Plus Extravaganza, whatever you want to call it?
I don't know, but they just came out with that collection. It's the NES Metal Gear games, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Metal Gear Solid 3, all in one collection.
Oh.
And Metal Gear Solid, they're
going to do a remaster of 3.
Yeah. Like a remake of 3. Yeah, they're doing that too. But until then, they're coming out with they're calling it the Master Collection, and it's called Volume 1. So there's gonna be a Volume 2. Yeah.
Hold you over for now.
Yeah. So my theory is that on Volume 2 will be like the PSP games, the Vita game, and Metal Gear Solid 4 might be on that second one.
Play right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 4th game was so good.
Yeah. I wish my PS3 is in working order. It's just not very reliable because the fan starts kicking on. And I would love to play Metal Gear Solid 4 again right now, but I know that just that fucking 45-minute install process, that PlayStation would be like, it'd want to die. So yeah. I'm not even going to attempt it. But yeah, man, Saints Row the Third is one of those games that is just, it's a time and place. It definitely lives in a bubble. I think if you try to compare it to modern games, you'd be really sad.
You'd be disappointed about it, yeah.
But if you like that era of video games, it's the most fun of that era of open world games to me.
Yeah. One of the things that I think it does, which could save a really, I'm not saying Saints Row is bad, but can save a bad game or not so fun game to play, is the writing and the characters. Yeah. And that's something that Saints Row the Third does. Because like I said, playing it, the controls definitely feel kind of
archaic.
Yeah.
There's no
but the story, the game, the witty comebacks and stuff, all that keeps you in, so you want to keep playing. And that to me at least saves many games.
Yeah, when I started playing it again last year initially, I forgot that there wasn't a cover system. And I was like, oh yeah, there's no cover system.
Yeah, you just have to run and hide behind the door or something.
And then when I started playing it again last month, I was like, oh fuck, there's no cover system. Shit.
Yeah, I got caught. That was one of the first things that happened to me when I got caught in one of those gang areas.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't hide.
You can crouch.
The best you can do is grab someone and hold them.
Yeah.
That's the best that you can do.
And that's still fun because when you're done with them, you can just toss them. Yeah. Or you can snap their neck to finish them off or whatever. But it's there's no cover system. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna want to go back now and play 4. Just because 4 is ridiculous as 3 is. 4 is way more ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna run through this 3rd one and then I'll play 4.
Okay. Yeah. The story of the game is cool. Johnny Gat gets murdered at the beginning, or spoilers for Saints Row 4. You think he gets murdered, and then you're quote rebuilding the Saints again, which is cool because now you're the boss and you have to rebuild the Saints as a gang, and you have to take over territories and, fix your notoriety and make sure people like you again. And by the end of the game, you end up saving the city. And I really like the choices you can make. There's a choice at the beginning of Act 1 where it's like, hey, we killed the guy we came to kill. Do I blow up this building or do I keep it for myself? And it adds to the money you accumulate. And, there's a trophy for doing it one way and a trophy for doing it the other way. So you make a manual save before you start the mission and you do it one way. Then you load the manual save and you do it the other way and you make that, the way it is in the game. And then there's a thing at the end of the game, there's a choice you have to make. You have to go hunt this guy down and kill this guy, or you go save Shandy who they're going to blow up at the statue, and you choose which one to do. And you can choose to not save Shandy. And then everybody's like, oh man, these guys suck. Or you can choose to save Shandy, and everybody's like, hey, Saints, yay. And then, depending on what you choose, there's a different final mission. There's the Gangsters in Space movie one, which they ended up making an entire DLC pack, which I want to go out and play. but like where you're on Mars and you're hunting down the guy you let go, and then at the end you realize, oh, you're making the movie Gangsters in Space finally. That they keep talking about. Yeah, no, the third one. That's the end of the third one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's
and then but then if you choose to not save Shondi and you choose to kill the dude, then the military, the final mission is taking out the military. But yeah, it's such a good game, and it's one of the games that the choice. There was a lot of games at this point where it was like, choose your side and everything matters, and like it was one of the games where like it didn't really matter because you could just pop a manual save and then go back and do it the other way or whatever. But if you just played through the game, like if you don't kill the guy at the end of Act 1, Shondi's mad at you for a little while because this is the guy that killed Johnny Gat. So she's mad at you because you didn't blow up the fucking building. And then at the end of the game, if you don't save Shondi, the city's still pissed at the Saints and the military tries to take you out. And you finish taking out the military and the city still doesn't like you. So like if you just play the game properly and don't save scum it like I did, like it does make a difference in how the story plays out, and it changes the way people feel about you. And they did that by and large to make fun of all the ambiguous choice that were in video games at the time. But they actually did it in a way where it did affect what happened. And I thought that was really cool at the time. To where, like I said it before, they were making fun of all the tropes in video games, but then they were still doing them, which I thought was really funny. It was like Wayne's World. Yes, but it's the choice of a new generation. It's like, it's literally that.
Yeah.
Like Saints Row the Third is literally that scene in Wayne's World.
That's funny.
I don't bow down to corporate sponsorships. Pizza Hut, Boggs.
People only do these because they get paid. That just makes me sick.
He's wearing all the Reebok shit. Yeah, dude. That's Saints Row. That's the perfect way to sum Saints Row the Third. Is it is that scene, that sponsorship scene in Wayne's World. That's Saints Row the Third.
Funny.
Yeah, we need to go back and co-op and get that platinum, dude. Go for it again. Why not? Why not?
Once I get into my normal schedule, it's just 12 to 9, I'll be able to stay up later.
Yeah, cool, man. Let's go. Yeah, you won't be calling me at 6 a.m. going, I'm up, let's record. I'm like, later. I need to sleep. That's pretty funny.
Liking the earliness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This works for sure. Rather than sitting here at 4 o'clock in the middle of the dead heat. Yeah. This definitely works. Or the only thing that works better than this is at night.
Or at night, when it's cooler.
But at night is when you get upset because then all the crickets are out and you're like, who is this going to pick up on the microphone? Fucking killing my audio.
I've saw that problem. I got a fan going on over here and you can't hear it.
Yeah. That's pretty funny, man. But yeah, man, that's Saints Row the Third. I love that game. I think it's
a great game.
It's one of the best games of that generation, of PS3, Xbox 360. And I'm glad that they did the remaster and brought it forward. It just sucks. So just last week, they announced that the Embracer Group that bought Volition after THQ went out of business has shut down Volition because the last game didn't perform. And they're trying to help the people in that company find other work. But Volition is based out of Chicago, and there's not a bunch of developers in Chicago, and a lot of those people live in Chicago, so it's going to be a difficult task to move them out. But hopefully all those people land on their feet.
Hopefully.
And hopefully they go on to make better games with different companies and have some fun experiences for us to enjoy down the road. But yeah, pour one out for Volition. And if you haven't played Saints Row the Third, go play it. If you haven't played any Saints Row games, find a way. Xbox 360, you can still buy Saints Row 1 on the store. Only until next summer when they close that store down. We need to do an episode and talk about that.
Closing what store?
The Xbox 360 digital store.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, shutting it down next summer.
Wait, well, what about all the stuff people's purchased?
If you've purchased it, you can still download it. But there's going to be 230-ish games that are not available anywhere else but on the Xbox 360 digital store. So if you haven't bought those games, you won't ever be able to buy those games because they're just going to be gone. Which is bullshit.
Wow.
230 games. It doesn't sound like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but that's all the Xbox Live Arcade stuff. Like, some of those games did come out in like remastered forms on every other. Like Shadow Complex ended up coming out.
Makes sense. Okay.
Alien Hominid HD is coming out, which was like the first Xbox Live Arcade game. There's some games that have come out and some games that are in the works to come out, but there's a lot of games that you just won't be able to buy if you didn't already buy them. And it's that aren't out on any other system. It's really shitty. And nobody's saying anything about it or complaining about it or talking about it. And I remember saying this a long time ago on the old podcast when some services started shutting down. And I said, this is going to happen where it hits us all. And we're going to be so used to it by that point that nobody's even going to complain. And here we are. Nintendo shut down the Wii U eShop and the 3DS eShop a few months ago. There's a great video by Gerard the Completionist. Go check it out, where he bought every game on the eShop and archived it and gave it to the Video Game History Foundation. Oh. So they have archives of all those games. It spent like $23,000. Yeah. So that got shut down and people were just like, okay. They tried to shut down the Vita and PS3 stores about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. And people were like, hey, you fucking dare. And Sony was like, all right, we won't yet. But now with Wii U getting shut down and Xbox 360 getting shut down, the next time Sony says we're shutting those stores down, they're going to shut them down. And it's really shitty.
That's terrible.
Yeah, because there's no way of archiving that stuff. And nobody's complaining about this 360 thing. It was the most popular console for most of that generation. PS3 ended up outselling it towards the end, but you cannot take away the fact that in that 10 years, when people were talking about video games, they would say Xbox 360, Xbox 360, Halo 3, Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. Like Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon. Like Xbox 360 was ubiquitous. Everybody had one. There was almost 100 million units out in the world. Yeah, everybody fucking had one. And that digital store is just going away.
That's insane. I don't know that.
It was kind of like the PlayStation Plus price hike that here's the PS Plus games for this month. Also, we're raising the price of PS Plus. Please don't read the fine print. But yeah, man, and people just aren't complaining anymore. And it's in a world where everybody is offended by everything and complains about everything. How are we not making a fuss about the Xbox 360 digital store shutting down? At least they've given us a year. I actually went and bought a couple things off the store. I bought the original Assassin's Creed there. I went in a few months ago. I bought the first Red Dead Redemption on there, so I could have that a way to play it. The thing that is really a bummer is a lot of the games on 360 aren't backwards compatible on the new Xboxes. Like some of them are because of licensing. Like there's some old Need for Speed games for the 360 that you were still able to buy for a long time on 360, and if you bought them, you can download and play them. But because of car licensing deals or music licensing deals, they pull them off the store for purchase. So that's another thing that sucks. Like there's some great games from that generation that are just not accessible if you didn't already buy them.
Yeah, I only bought one game. So I'm good.
Yeah.
But it's a game that I've already have on every other system.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's a bummer. I didn't want to end the show on a bummer like that, but hey, it came up, so why not? But yeah, so go back to the original topic here. If you haven't played Saints Row the Third, please go do it. You owe it to yourself.
Yes, definitely.
To at least try it. I played that thing on so many places. I played it on PS3. I remember when that OnLive streaming service came out. I had the month trial, and I played through the entire game, streaming it to my computer using an Xbox controller plugged into my computer, and it played. OnLive was ahead of its time. We've talked about it before. That it fucking worked. That system worked. Yeah. The only problem was people weren't ready for subscription services yet. People weren't ready to buy games digitally that they didn't necessarily have a hard copy of to download because you were just streaming it. So I think OnLive was ahead of its time, and I think it probably ran so well is because there was less people attacking those servers. And that's probably why it was able to be served to you so well.
It was during a time where they weren't sure to trust it or not.
Yeah.
So those who did got to benefit from it pretty well.
So I played through it there. I bought the remaster on Switch, which isn't a remaster. It's just a port of the PS3 version. I bought and played through it on there. Then the real remaster came out on PS4, and I bought it there. And then they came out with a native PS5 version, but if you bought the PS4 version, it was a free upgrade if you wanted it. So, yeah, I've played it on PS3, a streaming service, Switch, PS4, and PS5. Like, it's one of my favorite games of all time.
That's how great the game is.
Yeah, like if somebody named Mike were to make a list of his favorite games of that generation, which he may or may not already have done on his phone, Saints Row the Third is probably in that top 10, maybe even top 5 of that generation.
What generation is that?
PS3 360
PS3
era? Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I may have
episode.
I may have been sitting on this list for like 7 years now. Who knows?
Maybe
Who can say?
Putting something together. Yeah. I would be all PS3 though, because I didn't have an Xbox until recently.
Right.
All right, but I guess that's our show for today.
Yeah.
Great topic. Go play the game. And thank you for all of us. No, wait, I said that wrong. Thank
all of you
for
joining us.
That's what I meant. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about, feel free to leave a comment down below.
Yeah.
If you hate us or like us, hit the like or dislike button. That's always an option for you. And share it to the people you hate.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this all the way through, the person who sent you this hates you. But that's okay. I hate myself too. And then, of course, thank you for the wonderful person who provided us this music.
Yeah, No Taxes, Nigel Bravo. Check him out at Stoat Krow Komedy on Bandcamp and Twitch and anywhere social media wise. Really funny dude.
Absolutely.
And makes great music.
All the links you can find for us and for him are down below. Thank you again for watching, and we will catch you next time.
Peace.